Hey, it's Rick here, and this is your weekly wrap. So I'm going to kick it off this week with some gaming news. And man, if you're a Call of Duty fan, this was definitely a week for you because we heard more about Call of Duty Ghosts, which is the next release in the Call of Duty franchise. There was a short trailer released. It was more or less a live action video showing people in different costumes and masks and things like that. Didn't really give us any idea about what the gameplay is about. But what we did hear is the release of this game is going to happen this year on November 5th. 2013. It's coming to the Xbox 360, the PS3, as well as the PC, and it's also been indicated it's coming to the next generation consoles, being the PS4 and whatever the name of the next-gen Xbox is going to be. Now, I'm guessing that doesn't mean November 5th is indicating the release of these next-gen consoles. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. Now, if you're looking for more details about this game, obviously in the coming weeks, we're going to hear a whole heck of a lot more about it. But shortly after this announcement was made, Major Nelson from Microsoft's camp indicated that we're going to see and hear a lot more about Call of Duty Ghosts at the official unveiling of the next-gen Xbox on May 21st. So if you caught last week, you know you can watch that live on Spike TV. You can also catch it through your Xbox on Xbox Live or hit up GameTrailers.com online. See the next unveiling of the next generation of Xbox, as well as hear more information and presumably see gameplay footage from Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, there's another sequel that's been in the works, and this one apparently since 2011. And this is a sequel to The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. So, great game. Obviously a big Zelda fan right here, and I know many of you guys are out there as well. And this, A Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past sequel, it's coming, and it's coming this holiday season. No official date other than holiday season was announced. It's coming to the Nintendo 3DS, so they are power packing the lineup for the 3DS, as they should, because it's picking up its numbers here, and it's doing pretty good. Now, developers have stated they've designed this game very specifically to take use of the 3D capabilities in the 3DS. So they're going to use that stereoscopic view that you get with the 3DS, and it's really going to take advantage of the game. So, sequel to The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past is coming this holiday season. Pretty cool. Now, if you've got a Wii U, I'm looking down at mine collecting dust, unfortunately, and I hope they change that soon. But nonetheless, if you've got a Wii U, one of the launch titles, if you remember, was Tank! And Tank! Ran about $49.99. Shortly after it was released over in the UK, they made this free to download. Nintendo did. Well, this week, Nintendo has now made it free to download for all of us here in the US. So, if you've got a Wii U, you don't have Tank yet, get online with that thing, hit up the Wii U shop, and you can search for Tank and download it for free now. Of course, there are some microtransactions built into this, so if you want to purchase additional levels and game modes, those are going to cost you anywhere between $1 up to, I think I saw about $10 in there. But Tank is free to download now. Now, how many of you guys have wanted to go to E3 but couldn't because, as some of you may know, E3 is an industry-only event? Well, there's another expo. It's a little bit smaller. You may have heard of it. It's the GameStop Expo. And guess what? This year, the GameStop Expo is taking place in Las Vegas on August 28th. And they've opened it up to the public, interestingly enough. So you can purchase tickets to this. It's pretty reasonable, actually. Tickets are going to run $35 for general admission. And if you want the VIP treatment, which basically gets you some extra goodies, gets you on the show floor, I think, an hour early, costs you $90. But all of the developers are going to be there, at least many of the big ones. You're going to see Microsoft there. They've indicated the PS4 will have hands-on time for you guys there as well. Of course, they're encouraging people to dress up in costume and whatnot. So a little bit different environment than E3, but if you want to get hands-on with some of the games that are coming out very soon, the GameStop Expo in Vegas, great way to do it if you're around. I probably won't be attending this one unless somebody sends me to it. But again, tickets are available now. I'll link in the description of this video to where you can pick those up. They are limited, so if you're going to go, you might want to make your decision and book it soon. That's your gaming news for this week. So in kind of the mobile news arena, I guess I could call it, there was a lot of talk about iOS 7 this past week. News first broke at the beginning of the week that oh my gosh, iOS 7 is going to be delayed. It's not working out like it was supposed to. And then midweek, towards the tail end of the week, it was changed and said, no, 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 no. iOS 7 is still on track and it's going to be released this September sometime. Well, here's the deal. Here's what I know and here's my thoughts on this. Obviously, if you've got an Apple device, iPad, iPhone, iPad mini, iPod touch, whatever, it's running on the iOS platform. Now, when Apple did their recent change and put Johnny Ive in the helm for design, he's indicated that he's going to flatten the design of iOS. So what you're looking at on your phone today or your iPad is apparently going to dramatically change. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, and I'll hold judgment until I see some of this. But because of this change, it's taken a lot of effort. And there's been indication that a lot of restructuring of priorities has been taking place over at Apple, and they've put a lot of resources on the restructuring of iOS 7. Now, what we do know is this. We're going to get a preview of it at the Worldwide Developer Conference that takes place this June, coincidentally at the same time as E3, but in San Francisco, California. So stay tuned for information on that. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot of info about what iOS 7 is going to look like, as well as release dates. And I'm kind of betting we're going to hear about a next iPad that will be released. I don't think we're going to hear too much about the iPhones, maybe the iPhone 5S, but I think we'll hear about the iPad 5 as well. It's time for this week's question of the week. That's terrible. Anyways, that's my horrible rendition of a jingle for the question of the week. Don't make me do that again. If you guys are talented in creating jingles or whatever intros for this segment, please feel free to do so. I don't want to have to do that again. Anyways, it is the question of the week. And last week I asked you guys, what were you most looking forward to in the next generation of gaming? Next-gen consoles and things like that. I got my iPad here. I'm going to read some of your responses here. Thank you for taking the time to respond. Computer Kid 1 indicates a couple of things. He says, I think Nintendo has to step it up and innovate. And I would definitely agree with that. I mean, what we saw with the Wii U, some would argue that's not a whole heck of a lot of innovation. And it's really not a revolutionary product. It's more of an evolution of the Wii in itself. So agree with you on that. Also mentions Xbox 720. So we don't know if it's going to be called that yet, but certainly the next generation of Xbox is important to Computer Kid 1. We're also hearing from Slick Productions 98, and Slick Productions 98 indicates, I'm expecting a high-spec console, something like the PS Vita, which allows you to connect with other devices and share gameplay with each other, and on Facebook and YouTube, and also connect wirelessly to televisions using Wi-Fi. Now that would be a good seller. And yeah, I mean, we're in the day and age of social media and technology, and everything kind of interconnects with one another. We saw this when the PS4 was announced, how you can connect it to your social networks, how you can upload video footage from your games to YouTube and other platforms. So I bet this is going to be a very big feature for all the next-gen consoles, and we're just going to see it kind of build on from there. Real interesting stuff. Peter and Family Guy says, honestly, I only expect better graphics. And man, I tell you, some good graphics out there today in the current gen. So I am really excited to see what this next gen of gaming is going to produce in the graphics area. And in the future weeks, I'll talk to you guys more about this immersive technology that Microsoft is kind of toying with, where it's going to project images on your wall beyond the scope of your TV to really enhance and make it more like you're in the thick of the action if you're watching a movie, if you're playing a game or whatnot. So I'm going to up the ante here in the question of the week this week, because I'm going to add a new element to this, and it's a giveaway element. So if you guys participate, there are potential benefits for doing that. If you participate and you see your question or your response featured here in this segment, you guys know I do a lot of video reviews on mobile platforms. So I have a lot of cases, iPad cases, Android cases, things like that. If I feature your question or your answer here in this segment, I'll reach out to you via direct PM to get your shipping info, and I'll coordinate with you, sending you a case or an accessory out your way. Just my way of saying thanks for participating. And with that, this week's question of the week is quite simply, what is your favorite mobile game? And that can be mobile being a tablet, mobile being a phone. Heck, I'll throw in the 3DS or even the PS Vita. We can throw those in there. Why not? They're mobile. You can walk around with them. But what is your favorite mobile game and why? And that's this week's question of the week. Leave a comment down below and you might get featured next week. So my app for this week is a new one that just came out, and I had my eye on this one. It was actually released about a week ago on iOS platforms, and then it got pulled back, and then it finally released in its entirety here this past week. It's by COD Games. It's called Haunted Hollow, and I'll tell you, I played through the game. It's more of kind of a haunted house, turn-based. I almost liken it to playing a board game. So right now in its entirety, there's not a whole lot to it. You get different monsters, you build up your haunted house, you basically try to scare the neighborhood that you're in, and the person who scares all the homes first wins. You can play against a computer, you can play against somebody else, and I think that's where this game really shines, at least right now, because if you play it single player against the computer, when it ends, it ends. There's not a whole lot more to it. It's got the whole microtransaction thing built into it where you can buy additional monsters. But the thing is you don't have to do that. You can play this game just as it is, and it's just fine. Got a really cool look to it, really cool sound, kind of spooky, but not scary. And it's definitely appropriate for, in my opinion, all ages. So it's called Haunted Hollow. It's for your iOS devices, and it's available now. So I've got another code to give away for you guys this week. This is my free app of the week. And I'll do this as long as I can. I may not be able to do this every single week, but this time it's another iOS game. So sorry, Android users. Maybe I'll be able to do something for you guys soon here. This is called Where's My Parry, and it's a puzzle game. So I'm going to encourage you guys to do this quick because you're going to see a bunch of codes scroll down below here. One-time use only for the iOS App Store in the US. Grab the code, redeem it, download it, and you're good to go. Now, if you try to redeem the code and it doesn't work, it means somebody else redeemed it before you and beat you to the punch. But this week's free game is going to be called Where's My Parry, and it's from me to you. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hey, so it only comes once a year, and what better way to close it out than with kind of a geek out moment here. I'm talking about May the 4th. So with that, May the 4th be with you, and I'll see you guys next week. Take care, everybody, and have fun.